What is going on, Alpha Hunters? Hope you guys are doing well this week. Man, it is. Hope you guys had a great weekend, actually. I did have a great weekend. Many of you guys knew I was kind of working through late last week, just some wedding planned stuff for my cousin, and a lot of that is now done. Actually, all of that is now done and out of the way. He got married this past Saturday. It was a great wedding. It was a lot of fun. Uh, yeah, it was actually probably the best part about it between the bachelor party and the wedding was kind of getting to hang out with some of my cousin's college friends that I had never met before. That you know spent a couple few years with with my cousin, and I'd heard their names before. When the family had gotten together. Just hearing their stories about in college and whatever. But it was kind of nice to meet those guys, meet some of those people. And I hadn't really even met my cousin's bride, my cousin's now wife, I guess. Shoots and uh, I met her maybe a handful of times, maybe less than that, before we started getting together for all this wedding stuff, and then obviously doing rehearsals, doing family get-togethers. Seen her a lot over the past couple months, so it's definitely really neat to kind of meet some of those people that have been around my cousin, and my cousin's wife. So I'm sure I'll get to see her a lot more going forward. And I'm sure they're off on their honeymoon. I think they were leaving today, and they will actually be back, I think, Thursday or Friday, because they have another friend getting married this next weekend. So they will be coming back for that. And then I think they have another family wedding on the other side of the family from that's like in 2 or 3 weekends. So yeah, they got like a lot of weddings here over the next on that with that family over the next few weeks. Yeah, I'm good with just one. I'm glad I have a small family. I'm very much okay with that. Um, so hopefully you guys had a great weekend. Let me know if you did do anything interesting this weekend. And I had a great one. I had a great one. The party Saturday was long. It was a lot of dancing. I think we had dinner around 5 p.m., I believe. I think it was 5. And we didn't leave out of there until I believe a little bit after. I think I left there around 11:10. Got home about 11:40, 11:45, and went straight to bed. I was pretty tired, but it was a good time. I always enjoy hanging out with the family, especially in events like that where it's just a lot of fun. It's just fun. All right, so let's start to take a look at the market here. So I kind of thought we'd go a little bit higher earlier this morning, and then I thought we would kind of sell into Wednesday's morning. But it seems like the over exuberance that we saw in Friday definitely did not carry into this morning. So let's just take a look at the extended hours trading, because we actually see here after the bell on Friday, we actually did get up into that 390 area. We actually did get up in that 390 area, that nice little support and resistance level. So very interesting to see that after hours, though. I still think we'll go hit 390 or a little bit higher than that in the regular trading hours, probably sometime before we have like the real sell off. I just, man, it's so hard to say. Anytime the Fed talks, you usually get huge movement days like we had back on August 26th. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say right now. We might just kind of get in here and chop in between the 100 moving average on a daily. That's kind of coming down, which is why we can't really break out higher, because it's the first time we've actually hit that since back in mid-September. So we're just kind of finding a little bit of resistance there on the daily time frame. So we're just kind of having a hard time. Obviously, all the exuberance we had on Friday, a lot of people are placing bets now the other way that the Fed's going to do what it did back on August 26th, which is basically just trash the market. And I don't think that's going to happen. I think there's too many people counting on that now. This time around, it's starting to be a very common trade. A lot of people have been looking for that now because that's been happening basically most of the year. Anytime the Fed talks, the market has just gotten trashed. So yeah, I just don't think that'll happen this time around. I think we'll see a pop after the Fed, on Wednesday. We maybe not on that day. Maybe we go bearish on that day, but then maybe the next few days after, maybe the next week we're bullish. Maybe get up into the 390 to maybe mid 390s, and then we probably have some major kind of breakdowns. But we might, like, if we don't break below these lows, kind of down here, maybe around the 380 level, especially like Wednesday, and we don't hold below it Thursday, Friday, I could see where we just kind of slowly grind higher, take out that 390 high maybe in a couple weeks, and then start to roll back over second half of November. What's interesting, I saw this article. I believe I put it in Discord. And let me pull it up. I think I put it in Discord. If not, I'm going to have to search the interwebs. It was a very interesting article. Let me bring this over. I really hope I put it in Discord. Stock futures slightly higher energy stocks to make up 30% of the S&P 500 by 2025. I thought that was very interesting. Fed won't pivot, blah, blah, blah. Not really seeing it. Okay. Bummer. Dang. Okay, that's fine. We can find it. Oh. Yeah, this is it. Okay, this one. So stock futures, stock slip on Monday as Dow looks to close out its best month since 1976. That is crazy. Wouldn't have thought that. So since they're talking about the Dow, let's go take a look at it, and maybe go look back in 1976, see what happened back then. Because there was a lot of market turmoil back then, right? So the Dow Jones DJI. How far back does this go? Perfect. This is exactly what I was looking for. The DJI. All right. I don't look at when I look at the Dow, I don't look at the DJI all that often. But what's interesting, I want to look now at the daily. So what's interesting is the Dow here. I mean, just look at that freaking climb. That is crazy. Wow. So if you look at where, obviously they're taking the metrics from the end of last month, which was this red candle right here on September 30th, right? So since then, roughly how much are we up? We are up a whopping a little bit over 14%. A little bit over 14%, and that's about what they have. 14.1%. So my next thing is I want to go see kind of what we did back in 1976. Because typically when you get like best months ever, usually right after that you get the like worst months ever, right? Or you get the worst months ever, you get the best months ever. Typically whatever you do best time frame wise, shortly maybe there shortly before or shortly after you did like the worst ever. So that's just typically how it kind of works out. So let's go back and look at 1976 era and see if we can identify possibly what month that was. And then, okay. So here's 1977. So that's basically the whole year. Okay. I would be guessing the month they are talking about is December of 1976. Yeah, it's got to be December of 1976. I mean, just look at how strong that was compared to all these. Yeah, I mean, because most of that year was choppy, and then we had a pretty good breakdown Actually, a pretty good breakdown here in late September. We kind of started a breakdown. Just carried into October. Second half of October was kind of chill, and then continued the breakdown there in November, and then it started to rally a little bit second half of November, and then bounced pretty aggressively in December. So that's probably the month they're talking about. And if we check the article, see if they mentioned December of 1976, because they mentioned the year. I'm just kind of curious if they mentioned December. They do not mention December 1976. Not that I see. Kind of a bummer. All right. Well, fine. So they don't mention 1976, December of 1976, but you see what happened then after, right? As I just kind of scale this over. So you had a great month for December of 1976. And then what happened in Q1 of 1977? Well, it just overdid everything. Overdid everything. Does that happen this time around? Sure, maybe. But like I said, if you have a great time period, it's usually followed or preceded by a really bad time period. So, if they're going all the way back to find like the best month ever on the Dow, obviously you can see what happened then in January. Obviously, probably wouldn't be the worst month ever on the Dow, that January of 1977, because we've had some really bad months. There was a really bad month there in 2008. So yeah, it makes sense that they're probably not going to reference 2008. But yeah, that's pretty strong. But obviously you can see what happened then after the best month ever since 1976. That 1976 December. That January of 1977 was pretty brutal, and that was already after already a pretty good sell off from the second half of September through the beginning actually of October, and then a little retest period there for a couple weeks, and then a continuation of selling early November. So I'm kind of curious. I just want to see what the indicators look like in this time period. And we can see really right here is a very huge, let me turn that auto off. I'm gonna move this down a little bit. One thing that's very interesting to see right here is a very nice divergence, right? We got a MACD divergence. I just hit the wrong button. Got a very nice MACD divergence right here. Lower price action, higher high. And do we have it right here on the RSI? We do have it here on the RSI. Definitely got a little bit higher here in that December time period. So I can mark that as well. So it's just kind of interesting to see that article was referencing, how strong of a month that was. But that doesn't mean we're out of the woods, right? I mean, it definitely means to still be cautious. Doesn't mean like, hey, this is the bottom. Start bottom fishing. It doesn't mean that at all. It actually means, be a little bit more cautious. So I love articles that say stuff like that. Because it doesn't mean anything really. How you doing, Sub? Happy Halloween to you, man. Hopefully you're doing well. Just kind of looking around the market. Came across this article here yesterday, so I put it in Discord. Stock slip on Monday. As Dow looks to close out the best month since 1976. So I went back and looked for the best month in 1976, and it was without a doubt December of that year. December was a very strong month. Most of all the months were choppy. They didn't really do much, kind of range bound for most of that year in 1976. And then we had a pretty good selling action here. So just kind of looking around, seeing some divergences, from the highs that we had in September of that year to the highs that we had at the end of 1976, actually the first day of January of 1977. Very nice divergence there on the indicators. So let's go take a look then at our recent price action on the Dow and see if we could possibly get an under. Man, Ooh, buddy. Oh man, I am seeing a pretty good one actually. Look at this histogram. Look at that histogram. That histogram is, man, that thing is maxed out. Holy moly. Like, so we got a pretty good divergence there. Obviously we have downward price action so far. Maybe we haven't peaked, but I mean, with how high that histogram is, I mean, that is definitely a divergence so far. This RSI looks to be, the MACD lines are not, they are not showing a divergence. They're just showing a continuation bearish for now. But that is a really nasty one. And with how flat, so when you see the flat top like this on the RSI, whether it's on top or bottom, that just basically means, you know, it's above the reading. It's above the max. So you'd have to go out a little bit longer. So let's see if we can go to a weekly, and there you go. So if you go to a little bit longer time frame, then you see the RSI and possibly where it is. And you can see we haven't taken out that previous high, right? And we have a downward trending price action so far. And we have a divergence here with the RSI. So, yeah, I mean, that's not what you're wanting to see too much. Just definitely to me, it says we need a little bit more settle out period. And basically the MACD is kind of telling you, hey, we're still trending bearish. Like we're still, yeah, we're basically just still trending bearish. We're not having like major divergences unless you're looking at the histogram on a daily. The histogram on a daily definitely says a very strong divergence there. And the histogram for the MACD, you know, it replies a lot faster. It's a little bit more like the RSI. It is a little bit quicker because it normalizes out a lot faster. The MACD lines can go basically as high as they want. They can go to infinity. But the RSI is kind of capped. The MACD, it's not capped, but it has a very strong pull back to the normal line to zero. So it's just interesting to see that. Maybe we are at the tippy top of this move, and maybe we are ready to start going bearish. I would be game for that. I got in bearish on Friday. That was too much buying for my liking. But I understand waiting. Waiting until after the Fed to start, you know, maybe getting into different positions. It makes sense to protect certain positions. Anyways, it was just kind of interesting to see. The other thing, you know, we look here at the SPY. We are definitely having some of those divergence patterns here on the histogram. Histogram definitely has that. We have a lower price action. You know, we have a higher high on the histogram. So just kind of interesting to see that. You know, you know, does this pattern right here kind of play out to where we kind of have a little settle out period, we pull back a little bit, we push higher later price wise, while, you know, maybe the histogram kind of settles out and just kind of goes sideways, and, you know, we get a little bit more of a divergence a little bit later on, maybe over the next week or two. Yeah, sure, that could probably happen. But, you know, we'll just have to wait and see. I don't really want to do anything crazy right now. It's going to be kind of just waiting to see how the market kind of sets up for Wednesday. I don't expect us to kind of get trashed on Wednesday. I think a lot of people are really starting to expect the Fed pivot, and they might not hint at a Fed pivot on Wednesday, but they might say some things like, "Hey, we're starting to see a little bit more of that contraction that we were wanting to see." So they might hint at, you know, the first dominoes are starting to fall into line, and that might be the first hints that we get. We'll just have to wait and see, though. Yeah, I'm liking some of the indicator readings here. I wonder what it looks like on a weekly. RSI is showing a very nice divergence so far, but this is a new line here. A lot of this is carryover today's read or this week's reading right now so far for this RSI. This is a carryover from how strong basically we ended last week from Friday. So obviously we're already above the hump that we put in back in August. So that's another little divergence there. MACD is basically just showing, hey, we should continue bearish. So yeah, I mean, over the next couple of weeks, it'll be interesting to see what we kind of get, but I like it. I like it for now. I like how things are setting up. Things are setting up very nice. So let's take a look. Intel today. Very nice retest on Intel this morning. Intel just came right down to that support and resistance, long-term support and resistance line, basically where it kind of gapped up to, kind of retested early last Friday. What was interesting about Intel is I still have a position here. It actually wound up getting over the 29 price level. So I went ahead and exercised my call options and brought in the shares to my account. And now I'm just down. Now I'm just down because basically I bought the shares at 29. And yeah, I'm kind of willing a little bit more to own the shares down at this price level. So I was actually okay with it. I mean, I know it's not working out today, but I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with owning shares of Intel down here. If it starts to get that pop out of here, I'll just take the profits on the shares. But I'm okay with owning Intel down here. Very much so. I was actually kind of surprised that Intel, by the end of the day, had climbed back up on Friday and got just over 29 to where I could exercise my shares and keep that trade going just a little bit longer. So I liked how that kind of worked out. Apple. Let's check out Apple. So what's interesting here on Apple is, we saw a great amount of bullishness on Friday. We saw that great amount of bullishness on Friday, and it got right up to that 200, and that's where we started to see it really. Intraday. We started to see it really kind of pull back, and that's where we on the live stream on Friday we started getting into those bearish positions on that pullback, and I liked it as it got into that 200 moving average on the daily. That's kind of what we were looking for as it pushed to the 200 moving average. And I was surprised it did that all in one day. After the earnings, man, you just saw huge amounts of buying. And the other thing about Apple is look at how much volume came in on Friday. That is a lot of volume. The last time it had volume that high was a selling day, which was back over here on September 16th. And then before that was huge breakdowns back over here. But we haven't seen a selling day a buying day that high until we go back and look at this day on January 28th. We'll look at it a little bit closer. January 28th. This day right here. We got a little bit of a lower retest in the morning, and then it just popped higher. A lot of volume obviously came in that day, but it wound up not holding, right? It wound up not holding. So obviously it hasn't held. We are seeing really good pullbacks here on AAPL today. Definitely below the Qs and the SPY. So we'll take a look at some other things real quick. Actually, let's just go and take a look at those. So AAPL, obviously we're seeing some pretty good bearishness there today. Take a look at Microsoft, Google, Nvidia down pretty good. Meta, we'll take a look at the trash can here. Amazon, and where's Netflix? Where is Netflix? 1.6% down. Jeez. Y'all, man, I'm sure a few of you guys remember how large Netflix and Meta they were large. They were big. They were roughly the size of like Walmart, but now they're like nothing. They're nothing. They were probably actually Meta was larger than that. No, it's just crazy how much they have lost in value. So let's take a look around. Just take a look around the market, kind of see what's going on. Microsoft, yeah, pulled into the 10 exponential moving average, kind of just hanging out. Looks like it'd probably pop higher, actually. Nice little bullish candle on Friday, and just kind of hanging out inside the day. Yeah, Shannon, good morning to you. Or good afternoon, I guess. I don't know. It's morning to me. Slept in a little bit today. Yeah, definitely FOMC sideways action makes sense. Makes sense. I would expect a little bit more bearishness, not like extreme levels of bearishness before. Hey, don't judge. Do not judge. Okay, I feel like the judge just hopped in. I feel like there was a lot of judgment that just hopped into that chat right there. Those were quick. Hey, it's 2 p.m. Wake your ass up. I'm in the middle of the country, so I'm in Texas. The best time zone, central time zone. The bipartisan time zone. Howdy back. Yeah, it is the best time zone. It's easy to get to East Coast, West Coast from flights here, and you don't have to change your clocks 3 hours whenever you go. It's kind of nice. All right, Google. Let's just run through these real quick. Google, kind of same thing like Microsoft, a little bit more selling from the open though. I would imagine some of those probably make some good bounces here. Amazon's got trashed on their earnings. It's gonna be hard to be not be bullish here on Amazon a little bit. Sub, I got something for you. First off, in Discord, I appreciate you. Where's it at? I appreciate you posting this here. I'm working. I was trying to do this last week, but I had a lot kind of going on. I actually posted it here in the trade ideas, but I need to make another Twitter account, and I'm going to have options trading trades actually come into the trading ideas, and I'll have another Twitter handle, probably just post stuff into here. I was trying to do it automatically, but I don't think I can. So I'll just have a Twitter handle, probably just post stuff like that into here. That will have it. And it just will simplify some things, but using just one Twitter handle for the Discord is not too well. The trading one or the options trading trades Twitter handle, that's just going to be fully automated out of TradingView though. So I just need to set that up later today. But I appreciate you posting that there. That's where I was wanting it. I just didn't post it in there. But all right, Amazon. Let's see. Meta Netflix. Oh man, look at that. Jeez, I try to say, hey, you know what? Maybe they'll come back up, have a bullish pop, but dang, they are not doing that. They are not doing that at all. Meta is done. People aren't even waiting for the pop. They're just basically saying Meta's done. Which, can't blame them, honestly. I really can't. I mean, this thing screaming lower. And probably gets to... I mean, there's really nothing in here for it to bounce. There's not much. 82 to 73 area probably finds a little bit of a bounce action there. But yeah, that's pretty rough. That is rough. Old Mark Zuckerberg's finding out what it's like to be an actual executive, an actual leader. What else was there? Netflix. How was Netflix doing? Netflix probably makes a quick 1 or 2 day run up to this 330 level, fills this gap from a pre-earnings gap down back in April. Probably does that here. I don't know, maybe soon. I ain't gonna place no bets on it, but I could definitely see it just having a day where it just pops, goes and runs, takes out these highs and just runs to 330. At that point in time, I'd be looking bearish on that. That's rough. All right, what else is out there? Energies are really starting getting close to my sell zone. Yeah, I should have listened to you on FSLR. I was okay with it popping, just for the simple fact that I mean I went out to like next summer, but yeah, good call on FSLR. Definitely popping pretty good today. I did like how much volume's kind of coming in. Friday and today, very nice volume coming in. I like that. Get that exhaustion volume coming in. Let me throw on the indicators, MACD, RSI, real quick. Oh yeah, oh yeah. We're gonna have a very nice divergence pattern setting up. Yeah, very nice divergence setting up here. So it'll probably come back down. Yeah. Okay. This might take a little bit longer to kind of chop out and roll over later on, but that to me it seems like it's a lot of exhaustion. A lot of exhaustion. All right. What did you say, Diet? So to be fair, Zuck has been a leader for like the last 15 years and made billions. But he has business chops. He's not so much a business guy. He's more of a visionary, which they're not necessarily the same. Uh, he's an inventor, not an entrepreneur. He missed. I'm trying to think which one I want to go to. So he missed the stepping stones. Like the meta will be something increases taxes to energy companies. Oh, yeah, of course they do. Yeah, of course they do, Shannon. Biden increased tax to energy companies. Dude, like he's just digging his own grave, man. He's not getting. If Trump is out there in 2024, I don't know who wins that. A lot of people have disdain for Trump, kind of like they did Hillary Clinton. But Biden just doing the dumbs. Like he's just doing the dumbs. So I have no clue who's going to win that election. Multi-decade low in oil reserves. We're so screwed. Yeah. That's why I work from home. I don't have to go anywhere. Let me check. You know what? We're gonna run through dollar and all this stuff real quick, and then we'll check crude oil and gasoline. Obviously we're seeing dollar. A lot of things are gonna be looking like their previous trends, right? Like they're basically the yearly trends. A lot of things are gonna be looking like this ahead of the Fed. We'll see kind of what comes after the Fed, but a lot of things are going to be continuing those trends today. It probably just before Wednesday's Fed day. I saw your 10-year, 3-year post. That was actually really interesting to see. Our 10-year, 3-month post. But yeah, this thing continuing to just chop around down here. Yeah, we'll be hitting recession sometime. Like it would be okay if it just would have flashed below the 10 and 2-year, if it would have flashed inverted. And basically it did back over here. Yeah, back in April, I remember this. People were like, "Oh, we got a recession coming," but these aren't big deals if they flash inverted. Because I went back and looked. Anytime they flash inverted, it's not a big deal. But usually when they do flash inverted, they will come back and go inverted. And when they get to a sustained inversion like this for the 10 and 2-year, yeah, it's basically recession's almost a guarantee at that point. But you're looking at the 10 and 3 month. So let me bring that up real quick. The 10 and 3 month. Yeah, that's a nasty inversion. I mean, just look at that. Just absolute crush job. This is a weekly chart, or this is a 1 day. This is 1 day. This last week. So that was last Thursday and Friday. Wow, that is nuts. That is crazy. All on 1 day. Let's see if I can bring that up. US 10-year minus US 0.3 month. Pool. There it is. Turn that log off. See if on a log chart it looks way more drastic. Way more drastic. Turn that log off. It doesn't look like it happened, but it doesn't look as bad. But when you go negative, that it makes log, and the smaller these numbers you get, any kind of large moves make it look really huge. Yeah, it's crazy. That is a huge move, though, because it doesn't typically get down there, right? Oh man, it did back in. Oh, look at all this inversion for these two back in 2019. That was well before COVID. Well before COVID. That's interesting. That is very interesting. But yeah, definitely doesn't go back before 2014. Just interesting to see that. All right, let's check then HYG. It should be pulling back a little bit. Dollars up, or no? Sorry, I thought it was on gold. Yeah, should be pulling back a little bit. Dollars up. HYG looks a little bit like the stock market, a little bit more bearish. The other thing was, I was looking at this weekend. Look how much volume came in on the HYG on Friday. Look at that volume spike. That is crazy. And last time we got a volume spike, we had a massive breakdown back in June. And then we pivoted and started to go the other direction. So are we going to pivot here and start to go bearish? Yeah, we don't. I mean, that's crazy. That is nuts. And then the VIX. It's interesting here with the market just kind of not doing a whole lot today. It's not really doing a whole lot today. It's not just one direction. It opened lower and just kind of chopped around for most of the day, but the VIX is just opened higher and just sold off all day. VIX tells me I think we'll probably pop higher eventually. I think we'll just pop higher. Maybe nothing crazy. Maybe in like a week or two. I think it'll be after the Fed, though. I think we'll be bearish Fed day. Fed day, I think, is going to be just all over the place. Because even if they don't hint at it, I think people are going to still expect them to change going forward. And then people will start wondering how the economy is, and then that's where we're going to get some real selling. I think that's where we'll get real selling. Really, people will get real protective then. All right, so let's check out crude oil. The only thing that the bears have on the market is the Qs. It did not make a new high. If the Qs take out the recent high, we would have a bullish sequence. Check out the Qs here in a sec. All right. Crude oil down. That's interesting. Usually you would expect lower reserves, which I know they're extracting out of the reserves, so that might be putting pressure here on the near term into the bearish direction for oil, right? 284 high on the Qs. Okay, we'll check that in a sec. But what's interesting here is, all right, so this was definitely a contract roll, by the way. This is definitely a contract roll. It went from whatever contractor was on last Wednesday, and then Thursday was the new contract. Just look at how much of a drop that is from one contract to the next. Usually you don't see that. Here's another pretty good drop. Usually you don't see the commodities market move or drop or have gaps like that unless it's a contract roll. Here's another one back in July. There's one in August. So that's about the only time you get those gaps like that. That's just interesting. That's a huge one. That is a huge one. All right, so let's check out the Qs then. Let's check out the Qs. Yeah, and the other thing is 284 high. 284 high. Oh, this high. These highs. The thing about the Qs is if they come into this 294 area, 290 to 294 area, man, that's going to be a pretty tough zone for the Qs to get past. That'll be tough. And so we might go risk on here a little bit. Qs might catch up with the SPY because obviously the SPY here the past, man, really the past week, past 4 or 5 trading sessions, the SPY has definitely led higher. The Qs got smashed in earnings week, in tech earnings week. I think people, I think I'm gonna use this word. I don't imply this on anybody. I think really dumb investors are trying to buy dips here in tech. And you know what? I did that too. I did that on Meta for this week. I didn't bet the house on it, but I did it, man. I was like, all right, I'll take a little bit of a shot here. But there's a lot of other capital being put that's about to get put into use here on some of these big tech names that are down, like Microsoft. And Microsoft's one that I think is a lot more of a safe haven than some of these others. Google I also like is pretty good. Amazon, I'm not so sure about. Amazon, they are continuing to see a lot of competition in their retail side, and their cloud services is not performing as well. Like Microsoft is hitting it on cloud. Amazon's not. That's a big deal because we hadn't really seen that previously. We've seen Amazon and Microsoft just crush it on cloud, but now, really for a couple quarters now, we've seen Amazon be a little sluggish on cloud growth. So it's just kind of interesting to see that. Let's see what else. IWM looking pretty bullish. So small caps should be doing pretty good today. Large caps, which obviously large caps, a lot of that's tech, looking pretty kind of tough today. Large caps aren't looking too bad relative to other things out there, but a lot of big time, a lot of the large caps, just looking here at the heat map, a lot of the large caps are tech, right? Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon. They take up a lot of space, so when they're red, it's gonna be kind of tough. Exxon, so we'll check a look at some of these. Oh, by the way, Shannon, did you take a look at this? Put this article out here. Probably should have tagged you, but this is a article which I was not just thinking it was interesting, but I thought it was actually probably right on. Energy stocks could make up 30% of the S&P by 2025. Take a look at this real quick. In 2020, all right, a massive increase from 2% in 2020 that will come at the expense of tech. I can't disagree with this at all. The part where I maybe pause a little bit is 30% by 2025. I mean, that would be huge. And it depends on how much energy, like what is lumped into energy. Are they talking oil and gas? And that's probably, you can probably read through this article and we can find out. I might read through this later. I didn't read through it. I just thought it was a very good, interesting title. I might take a look at this a little bit later. I'm not going to look at this on the live stream, but are they talking just, I'm trying to see if I can skim it and figure that out real quick. If it's just oil and gas, if that's what they're kind of talking about, energy, the legacy energy, but we have renewables and a lot of that stuff now that you can say is like the bigger umbrella. No, but wow, this is about the waiting as of now. Yeah, it's crazy to think that energy stocks, which used to be the big dogs back in like 80s and 90s, how much they have had a pullback or their weighting has been reduced. And you know, talking about like longer term cycles. Let me go to the SPX. Got to go SPX month, 3 month. Yeah, let me go to 3 month. There we go. What's interesting about the stock market is if you look at it in decades. I'm gonna go to 6 months. I'm just be zooming out here all damn day. All right, 6 months. If you look at it in decades, the 40s, kind of bullish. Kind of bullish. Started here, closed. Where's the? Actually, it was kind of flat. It didn't really move too much. The 50s were bullish, right? 50s were bullish. 60s kind of flattish. 70s got a little bit more bullish towards the end. 80s were bullish, and 90s were bullish. So basically, what's kind of interesting is one decade's bullish, one decade's not. But we had two kind of choppy decades here, the 60s and 70s, and then we had two bullish decades here. The 80s were bullish, 90s were extremely bullish. 2000s were not bullish, they were just choppy. 2010s, obviously, they were bullish. So 2020s, are we going to just have a choppy decade like the 2000s? Yeah, probably. Probably. Makes some sense. There's things for us to work out, right? We saw tech lead a lot in the 90s, and then it was a revaluation. It was the great revaluation plays in the 2000s where a lot of tech things were out. Tech things got hit. Oil and gas, financials, a lot of that stuff came back in because they were at such a great value. So, yeah, it kind of makes sense that maybe that kind of happens this time around. And we'll see what life is like here in like 6, 7, 8 years. And then maybe we get one of these financial crashes because who knows? But it's just kind of interesting. Kind of interesting to see kind of how like some of that longer term stuff kind of plays out. But yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with that article because I mean, tech. I mean, just looking at the heat map. I mean, tech just has huge boxes here, huge weightings everywhere, and then energy is just pretty small, and everybody uses energy. Everybody uses energy, even if you don't have tech. Which my grandparents, they don't have tech, but they use energy. Everybody uses energy. So it's just kind of interesting to see. So yeah, there's probably just going to be a huge rebalancing in the stock market, back into maybe some financial services. Transportation probably gets a little bit of a boost. Industrials, communications is, a lot of people use communication services now. T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T. I could definitely see a lot of growth going into that space. Energies makes sense. Energies make sense, and you're seeing it. They're at all time highs. Take a look at those companies right now, actually. So, sorry, Exxon Mobil continuing to make all time highs today. Yeah, I mean we're seeing great flow into. I feel like that was a commercial for men. Great flow. You can have great flow. Prostate drugs. But we're seeing great flow continue to go into oil and gas stocks. So I mean it's just hard to judge what they mean by energy stocks. And yeah. But Exxon looking good. Chevron Chevron just hit all time highs today. Okay. Chevron did hit all time highs today. Actually hit it on Friday. Just didn't hold. But yeah, Chevron looking good. ConocoPhillips. ConocoPhillips is looking good. Hitting all time highs again today. Who's that? Which we also do have Marathon Oil, which is MRO. They have earnings this week. MPC, Marathon Petroleum, which is more of the midstream refining They have. I don't think they have earnings this week. Oh yeah, they do. They also have earnings this week. VLO. Let me check Discord. And can't remember if they had earnings this week. Valero. No, they had earnings last week. That's what it was. So yeah, we're probably just continue to see a lot of these oil and gas names kind of just do well. It makes sense. We're seeing a lot of the optimization around energy supply chains have been completely destroyed this year with geopolitical issues. So yeah, oil might continue to go higher price wise, and if it does, I mean these companies are going to be extremely profitable. Extremely profitable. Well, maybe not extremely profitable, but they'll be in demand. They'll be in demand. And maybe as we go to a higher price on crude oil, maybe we find new oil reserves, right? Because every time you go to a new price level, more, like a new way to get crude oil out of the ground becomes accessible, right? Because there's a lot of oil in the ground that it's just we don't extract it because it's not cost efficient at a certain price level. But as you go higher in price, some of those resources in the ground that we do know about, they are not they're not viable cost wise. Costs too much to get them out of the ground, so we don't do it. But yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see. The other thing is, man, I don't know about that 30%. That 30%, that's crazy. All right, what else? What other news stuff we got out there? Morgan Stanley Wilson, end of Fed tightening nearing. I mean, I see there's a wide range of spectrum things out there about the Fed. And I've seen some like Fed will probably start pivoting towards the end of next year, in the second half of next year. I see things like the Fed will start tightening or start pivoting very soon in December. So that's just interesting. 30% can be the high to draw the last of the retail at short-term peaks. You know what? I don't disagree with you. Because I do understand that happens, right? That they do that. They do that. So yeah, I mean I can't disagree with you. But I but the other thing is really a lot of it's just understanding how the market kind of works, right? And if there's no growth in tech, like if you're not expecting a lot of growth from tech, then where's their value? Like, are they valuable like they had been before? Maybe not. And so, where does that money go? Like, even if these guys just stay, where they are, energy guys just kind of stay where they are, maybe increase in value a little bit. Just a reduction of some of these larger tech sizes, might just increase theirs, the energy stocks. So it's just interesting. Like it's a balance game, just kind of understanding how all that kind of stuff balances out. So yeah, I mean the other part of this 30%, I guess that you're kind of hinting at, and I'm kind of hitting at, but like are we gonna see energy stocks increase in value that much, or are we going to see tech decrease in value that much? That's kind of the up in the air, flip a coin, don't really know type situation. I would be willing to say though, if Exxon, like if we go into another bearish sell off like we did in the second half of August to the beginning part of our here in October, or hold on. Yeah, just like 2 weeks ago, there in October. Are we gonna see Obviously, you can see what the market did, and you can see what ExxonMobil did, and it didn't do anything like the market did. And any kind of like potential selling that got in, like you just saw huge buying come in thereafter. Energy might be a really good play. If you're looking to be in individual stocks, might be a really good spot. I would be waiting to see what happens after the next like market sell off and probably start to get in on some of these dips, right? Because we didn't really see Exxon sell off that hard, and any kind of selling it did have really for the second half of September was bought up very quickly in October. I mean, I am no way going to trumpet energy stocks, but yeah, I mean it's one that they are performing. It is one that's the numbers say they are performing very well. Obviously, they're hitting all-time highs in the S&P 500. And a lot of those tech stocks not even close. Those tech stocks seems like the bubble has popped again, like it did back in 2000, 2001, 2002. I just don't think we've hit the bottom quite yet. MVST, this thing was doing really good on Friday. Not looking too bad. Stem looking good. GSET. Ooh, GSET had a nice gap up today. I like to see that. That is nice. Very nice. APRN looking okay. Watt looking okay. First Solar, damn you. Come back, baby. Yeah, it doesn't bother me. So much time out there. Apple, it's crazy. I really didn't think Apple would hit that Friday. Just unbelievable. Intel climbing back higher. Continuing to climb. That might have been one of the greatest retests ever right there. I'm going to really be looking forward to this actually later in the week. If we don't get absolutely trashed on the stock market, but that's if. Let me know if you have any other questions, what you want to look at. I think it's just mostly wait and see. We'll just watch tomorrow, Wednesday. I'll start the live stream a little bit earlier on Wednesday. Kind of see what the Fed's doing, or kind of see what the stock market's doing before the Fed. And then obviously Fed will take a look at the stock market and then watch, kind of listen to the Fed, really what they're saying. You got to really nitpick what they say. Still, one of the biggest issues out there is the fact that they're selling off assets. That's still a huge issue. It's not even so much rates. Like rates, I mean, rates are problematic, but man, Fed selling off assets is a big deal. AAPL has maybe pushed to 162. If it takes out the high from Friday, I would not be surprised. I don't know how much higher it would run. But it wouldn't surprise me if it went up there and snagged over that high. I don't think it'd run to 162. I don't think it'd run to 162. If it overtook this high that it had back on what day is this? September 12th. That would be a game changer for Apple. I don't think it would take that out. It is a sell zone 162. Yeah, if it takes out that high right there, that would be a big deal. I don't think it will. I think it got well under this 200 moving average. I don't think it'll hold really too much, even if it closed a weekly over this kind of level where we topped out in it on Friday. I would imagine the next week would probably just come right back and sell it. The market would probably come back in and sell it. That'd be my expectations. I'm okay with being bearish Apple where it's at. It probably does push higher though. I could definitely see that happen. SP 500, SPY. Yeah, we're just seeing a lot of things kind of pull back a little bit today. Friday, extremely bullish. Setting up though, still seeing buying coming in. A lot of people placing them bets. So we'll see if they push. If we get back over this Friday high, tomorrow, Wednesday morning. I might be a little bit more tempted to be a little bit more bearish going into the Fed. Let me pull up one file. I want to check a number. I want to check some numbers real quick. Return analysis, and then I'll get off. I want to check some numbers here real quick. I want to check this. What day was this? 10/28. Yeah. And then what was the high we had that day? 389.52. 389.52. 389.52. That was almost a 1% per day move from the low to the high, from this low that we had in October 13th to the high we recently just put in. So that's interesting. I do think we'll probably pop over that. If we do that by, let's say we pop over it, get to 391. Yeah, makes the numbers a little bit less. Okay. Just kind of looking at some of these numbers, kind of seeing what some of these metrics are doing. Really kind of paying attention to this percent per day. So I definitely think we'll pop over that Friday high. I don't think the next rollover will be the last one. I think it'll be the big one. I don't think it'll be the last one. And maybe what about like the week later? If we did a week later and wound up making a run to like 394, 0.66% up per day. I like that. That might be okay. Might be okay. Just kind of playing around with numbers. Just kind of playing around with numbers for now. Let me know if you got any questions. I just wanted to check that. Just wanted to see kind of how things are rolling. But guys, we'll be back on tomorrow, and we'll definitely take a look and see what's going on with the stock market. See what kind of crazy buying is going on out there, or crazy selling. We'll see. We'll just have to take a look. But yeah, just being sideways till probably Fed on Wednesday. It's not going to be a big deal. Visa, MasterCard. Why is Visa down so much today? Oh, Visa was on a tear last week. That's why. Visa was on a tear. I'd be bearish here on Visa. I can't believe Visa ran that much. And MasterCard as well. You see a lot of volume came in last week on Visa and MasterCard. A lot of volume. Popping over this resistance level, which I mentioned possibly being bearish at that resistance level, but it made a move so fast over that level. I didn't even notice it. There was a lot of other things to keep track of last week. Yeah, interesting. Okay. Guys, we'll talk to y'all tomorrow, Alpha Hunters. And basically, y'all take care. I would expect just more choppiness, but not really a big deal. We're sitting here waiting to see what we can find out on Wednesday. Alpha Hunters, y'all take care.